Krish, you're gonna lead Om Sahana.
Okay. Om Sahana Bhavatu.
Om Sahana Bhavatu.
Sahano Bhunaktu.
Sahano Bhunaktu.
Sahaviryam Karvavahe.
Sahaviryam Karvavahe.
Tejasvinavaditamastu.
Tejasvinavaditamastu.
Ma Vidvishavahe.
Ma Vidvishavahe.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, so this one is may God protect us, may God nourish us, may we both generate the energy together, and may our energy is of brilliance and we don't get into a conflict. Peace, peace, peace.
You said it was like teacher-student lesson.
Teacher,
right?
so both in this, this look is from the Ved, and it is for both teacher and student together, or even if you guys are working together, this look we say is to just pray for our betterment.
Like any two people.
Yeah, can do that. Okay. Asato
ma satkamaya.
Asato ma satgamaya.
Tamso ma jyotirgamaya.
Tamso ma jyotirgamaya.
Mrityorma amritam gamaya.
Mrityurma amritam gamaya.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May lead us from unreal to real, lead us from dark to enlightenment, lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Okay? So we're gonna start Bhagavad Gita today. Are you guys excited?
Yeah.
That's end of the class, right?
You're using your Gita.
Right? I know.
So, how are you gonna recite?
I'm gonna say it.
Okay.
I have another Gita here.
Oh.
Okay. So, guys, before we start, I'm gonna give you a little bit background. We continue talking from last class, right? So let's talk about a little bit about last class that we studied, right? Can we talk about that a little bit? Yeah. Tiny, just to revise it. Okay. So, if you guys remember, what was the two kind of scriptures? Yes.
Shruti and Smriti.
Oh my God, Sunny, that's awesome. Shruti and Smriti. Okay. So where does the Vedas belong?
Shruti.
Shruti, right? So Vedas belong in Shruti. And what is the meaning of Shruti?
For everyone.
For everyone. And what does the Smriti?
Smriti is for only some people.
Yeah. So certain time, it depends on the time, it depends on the people, it depends on the place, right? Yeah, so Bhagavad Gita, good question, Sandy, very good question. So Bhagavad Gita belong in Smriti. Now why, I'm going to tell you. So Smriti is the thing that are being heard, right? Which has been heard. And Smriti were which are being remembered.
You mean
right? There was a Shruti and right?
Shruti is heard and Smriti
is to remember, right?
Okay.
So when you do Shruti, so Ved goes into Shruti. Now heard, I did not explain that last time, just to catch up on that. Vedas were initially not written up, right? There was no script before.
Yeah.
Script came later. Script was there, but nobody knows how to write it because the ink were not there, things were not there, pens were not there to write it, right?
Yeah.
So how did it travel from that long ago, 10,000 years ago, till they start writing? Do you know what was the mean of transferring it from one generation to another? Speeches, and like if I'm this father, the father passes on to the son and they memorized it. Because there was the only one way to do it, right? So it was from hearing from one person to another person,
so
and they memorized
the whole Gita.
Yeah, all Vedas. Because Gita came 5,000 years ago, right? Vedas came before that. They used to memorize all these and they go pass from generation to generation.
That's like at least 10,000 slokas.
Many more. You know Mahabharata has how many verses?
100. 700.
No, you remember? Guys, I told you last time.
70,000.
100,000. Ramayana has 24,000.
Oh.
Right?
How do you?
And Mahabharata has 100,000 verses in it. So think about that if they have to remember. But Mahabharata and Gita came when people started writing. But before that, Vedas came. Nobody knows how to write it, right? So what they were doing it, they were. That's why the Shrutis are saying that's been heard. Then okay. Now let's go to the part where we say so why Gita comes in Smriti.
I'm not Shruti.
Yeah. So Vedas are when it is mixture of Vedas, right? But it is a part of a story. So what happened is when Gita was written, it was a part of what?
A story.
Story that I was saying about Mahabharata, right? In the middle of Mahabharata, Gita is there. Like in 100,000 verses, these 700 verses. Gita has how many verses? 700. That 700 verses was in middle of Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, right? So now it was in it. So it was Smriti, right? So it was like, hey, there is story that, hey, if there are two cousins fighting against each other. This was a story. It was not for everybody, right? It was not Shruti, it was Smriti. When Shankaracharya came in, this is one of the gurus in India, who came in, he separated Gita from Mahabharata and made it separately because he said this Gita has to be separated from Mahabharata because not everybody will read 100,000 verses. But the gist of Vedas and what is Mahabharata is saying, everything comes up in Gita. So that's why they did it like 700, and Shankaracharya was the first one to separate Gita out of Mahabharata. Got it? Right? So, and now, that question, we will touch Shankaracharya in couple classes later, right? But that's how the Gita was separated and we got to know about the Gita, right? So now, another thing is what was, so we talk about Vedas, Vedas, all 4 Vedas were classified into 4 different kind of texts. What was the 4 different kind of texts?
Rig, Sama, Yajur, and others.
Oh my God, that's awesome, right? So that's good. Now tell me what different kind of languages were there? What different kind of text was inside the Vedas?
4.
What was the 4 thing?
There's 4, but like each of them are 2 parts.
There were 4, right?
Yeah, there were 4, but like the first 2
all
were
4
2
Vedas
parts.
has 4 different parts.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So but the first 2 were one like part.
Karma Kanda.
Yeah, Karma Kanda. And the second 2 were the Upanishad.
Gyan Kanda. Yeah, you're right.
Then the fourth one was Upanishad.
Samhitas, Brahmanas, Anunayaka, and Upanishad.
Awesome. Upanishad. Good job, Sana. Good job. Even if you read it from the book, but good job. You got understanding that, right? So then we can say that all the Vedas were divided into 2 forms, Karma Kanda and Gyan Kanda, right? Karma tells all about this, how to do the spirituality actions, yajna and everything.
Yeah.
And then Gyan Kanda.
What scriptures to read and stuff.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into Gyan Kanda now, right?
Okay.
So let's talk about Gita. But before we go, I want to get a little bit foundation on this one. Why we read Gita? And we did discuss a little bit before, but let's continue that. So, okay, tell me what's your goal in life, right? So, anybody can raise hand and we can go with that. What's your goal in your life? What's your goal in your life? Come on.
To achieve. What do you want to achieve?
What do you want to achieve?
God.
God?
Brahman.
To understand Brahman or to achieve Brahman? There are 2 different.
To achieve, what to achieve?
No, like to
What's
like,
your goal?
Like to understand.
Ali and Reha, anything from you guys?
No.
I think they are on mute.
I
Okay,
think
so
it's to like get to heaven, achieve the
get to heaven, right?
Get
Yeah,
like stop dying and rebirthing, I guess.
stop the circle of death and birth?
I never thought that deep.
I know, right? You don't have to think that deep because
Like your honest answer, like what right now, what do you think?
right, or what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Like, okay, in this life, what's your goal?
In
Let's
this
say.
life, I don't think I would be able
To reach Brahman.
to reach Brahman,
Mhm.
which is like not rebirth and death, to reach
Yeah.
God
Mhm.
in this life,
Mhm.
because it takes like many lifetimes.
Mhm.
So I think in this lifetime I want to at least achieve understanding Brahman.
The knowledge.
Yeah, understanding the Gyan,
Yeah, okay.
which is known.
What about you guys?
Same.
Anything from you?
I'm
Just
confused.
you don't have to answer according to the class. You just have to answer what do you think you
Like
want
if
to
you
do.
want to be a doctor or something,
Yeah,
you can answer that.
anything. Yeah. Okay. You want to grow up and you want to earn a lot of money, or no, hey, not money, but I want to be very educated or help people or do
know.
this. But
Can I go to the galaxy?
yeah, you can. So you want to be an astronaut? Then how will you go to galaxy? Right? Okay. So, okay, let's go turn our question. Okay, if you guys don't want to share your goals, tell me what do you think is the purpose of getting a human life? You got a human life, right? You did not become elephant. You did not become lion in the forest. You did not become.
God made you a human because you had a purpose. And
Yeah. So what that purpose is? Let's
That
talk about what's that purpose.
Okay, so that
To find it
purpose
out.
is
To find out the purpose of life.
You want to find out the purpose of life?
first you start by
Uh-huh.
finding out the purpose.
basically,
But
you
once
live
you-
for 7 years and then you actually
7
think
years.
deeper.
Okay. Now you're 7-year-old, so you have to think deep.
No, I'm 10.
Maybe you.
Yeah. So what is the purpose of human life? Have you ever questioned that hey, why I'm not bird? Why I'm not a stone or an elephant or a tree?
Giraffe.
I honestly want to teach.
I have.
Right?
but I've
Yeah.
never-
But why did you God give you human life where you can talk, you can think, you can do so many things, and you are this
So that you can
higher
achieve
being.
something, you can do something.
You can do something for that.
Like
right?
if you're a bird or something, it's just going to the forest to like find food, as much food as you can, eat, and then go back. That's literally every day what you do.
Yeah.
You
And
don't
try
do
not to
anything
die.
else.
And
Yeah, and try not to die,
Maybe,
right?
Maybe God wants us to like change the world in some
Change
way.
it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So that way we can actually.
Do something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it? There is some reason, right? Doesn't it make sense that
Yeah.
hey, I got a human life. There should be something about it, right? Why did I get out of? There are so many species. I don't know. You should Google it and find out how many living organism is there.
There's
But
literally,
still,
you can't even count.
I
because
know, right? And still, you get
People are
to
still are.
God pick you for a life of a
You have
human.
one
So there is.
organism out
Yes.
of all of them. Why?
Think about it. There is a reason, and you got the highest living being. Like living being, and some have these kind of senses, some have these kind of senses. Human being is the highest living being that God have made, and
Maybe
you
did
are
some-
that.
So you got the human being because you did something good in your past life.
You did, yeah. So there is a reason behind it, but there is a purpose to get
I
there.
think-
That's you have to think about it, right?
I think maybe because, like Tanya was saying, to like change the world. If humans were like, just go find food, I don't know, like kill a fish or something, go fishing, whatever, go find food, eat, go home, repeat each day. Try not to die to other predators and live in the forest. And you don't even have a hut. You go in a cave to live, and you just sleep on the ground. Then you're like any other animal, and you just do the same thing over and over. There wouldn't be any buildings, cities, houses, nothing.
We're also like rational, so we can think that. Like, we can
Yeah,
think.
like then you wouldn't think twice about killing an animal or something. But if you have the conscious,
Yeah.
you do.
Do that, right? So I think there is, first of all, we got this very clear, right? We got a human life, there is some reason in it. We don't know. Everybody has different purposes,
And
right?
it's important reason.
Right, but there is something lying in between the line, right? So now let's, you will say, oh my God, Sonal auntie, you were talking too philosophical, and it's too over the hey, can we talk a little bit? Right now I just want to study hard and get my good grades, and then enjoy my life a little bit, and earn money so I can live, I can get a house, I can get a car. So when we think on that basis, what are we looking for?
We're looking for enjoyment.
Enjoyment. And what does enjoyment
Pleasure.
gives you?
Pleasure.
What does pleasure and enjoyment gives you?
Happiness.
Happiness,
But
right?
momentarily.
Yeah, but here is the thing, happiness is what we are looking for, right? Everybody, when they think about it, what do we think? If you get a good grade, Janvi, if you get a really good grade, what do you feel?
Happy.
Very, very happy, right? Why? Because your parents will be very happy for you,
And I'll get my iPad.
right? And they will give you your iPad back.
I haven't even had one.
Oh, you don't have it? Are you asking for it? Yeah, see, then they will give you iPad, right? So we always think about the happiness, right? Ultimate goal is the happiness, right? Now, as Sean already mentioned, it's temporarily, and we discussed that last class too, right? That the happiness is very temporarily. But here is the thing. When we think about happiness, we think if I get that grade, I will be happy. If I get that iPad, I will be happy. If I get that iPhone, I will be happy. If I get that doll, I will be happy. If I get that toy, I will be happy, right? So the happiness lies in what? If I get that car, that house, I will be happy. Where is the happiness then?
It's
In
Objects.
the objects,
Yeah,
Material stuff.
things.
right? In the objects, that's where the happiness is right now, right? We want to, so it's not inside us, it depends on something other than
Us.
us, right? It's not, happiness is not ours, it's depending on other things, right? So it is, Bhagavad Gita will lead you to the path where you will find happiness inside you, not depending on the
Other
objects.
objects.
So that's the main base. Like when we talk about, when you read Bhagavad Gita, you will get moksha. Now, moksha, liberation.
Oh.
Right. Now, when I talk about liberation, you will again say, Sonal aunty, what? Right? Like Saisha did right now. What? What is moksha, right? And moksha is what? If I tell you in a library, like in the dictionary way, it is what? Moksha is liberation after death. Like Sane said, hey, we want to go to Swarg or heaven, right? But what happened about right now, right? Can we wait till, when I die and I will go to, I will get moksha and I will go to Swarg and that my life will be good? Is the Gita is teaching us after death, then what's going to happen now till death? Right? Are we going to go through those suffering of not getting happiness and temporary happiness? Are we going to go through that?
No, you read the script.
Then it's no use, right? If it is after death, then why would I read all my life here and then if it is giving me results after death, right? No, Gita will give you result right
That's
now and right
That's
now.
like that's like saying that's like studying on the day of the test and getting a bad grade, and then the assignment after that you get a good grade on.
Because you worked all.
Yeah,
all
because
the
you
time.
worked on you worked the day before.
So when it says liberation, I will give you a different definition. It's not me, it's a lot of other people give a different, it's not after death liberation. Liberation is right now in the life to get the permanent happiness, right? So Gita is not talking about after death part, it's talking about right now, how to live our life so we can get that permanent happiness right now, right? So now, what is Gita will not give you? Let me make it clear too, right? What Gita will give, we talk about it a little bit, but what Gita will not give you. So Gita will not give you.
what do you call it?
You cannot say, oh, give me a formula of making money. Gita doesn't have that. Gita will not give you a formula of being a millionaire. So if you are looking for that, it's not the book for you. Gita is not about, make me doctor and make me engineer, give me a career. I will read you, give me the career. And give me a mention. It's not going to, Gita not going to give you that, right? So those are not what Gita is going to give you. Another thing I would say that Gita is not for, because every time when you talk about Gita, it says, oh, it's in the middle of the war, and their two cousins are giving a fight, and the Krishna Bhagavan is giving knowledge in the middle of war. Is it about the war? It's not about war either, right? So again, Gita is not about all these. So Gita is what? Gita is the knowledge that is given by Bhagwanji to live, to practice the life, how to live your life, right? So now Bhagavad Gita. What is the meaning of Bhagavad Gita? Let's start from there. What does Bhagavad mean?
I have no idea.
Bhagavad is very simple. Krishu, I might not write the right G, but
God. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Bhagavad means God. What does Gita mean?
Book?
Scripture? Same.
Song.
Song?
Geet.
Oh yeah, because you sing it like.
You got it. You got it, buddy.
Because when you're saying any scripture, you're supposed to sing it
Yeah.
in a certain way.
Way, yeah. So it is God's song. Song of the God or God's song. You can say anyway. So this is the word to word meaning of Bhagavad Gita. Got it? Okay. So now I will tell you, it is knowledge given by God. Simple definition is Gita is knowledge given by God. Now, what is knowledge? Again, we're going to dissect each word because I don't want you to go without knowing it. So what is knowledge?
A ledge of knowing.
Knowledge is
Knowing
what God is giving you.
No, it's something that you know.
It's something that you know. Okay. We'll go with Sean's definition. Today is Sean's day. So we will go whatever Sean says.
No,
we're gonna
not.
follow.
You can't use a word in the definition.
It's not something, but it's knowledge, not know.
Okay. Let me actually do this. Knowledge, you know what I meant, right? So we don't have to, go through it. There are two kind of knowledges. When you talk about knowledge, there are two kind of knowledge. Okay. Let's talk about that. Trisha, you want to do that?
What?
You were raising your hand?
Never mind.
Okay. One is apara. My handwriting is not that pretty, but I can spell it. Apara. A-P-A-R-A. Yeah. And one is para.
Oh, kind of like if it's crap.
Para and apara.
Not
It's like good and near good. It's like basically the same. One comes. So the apara probably means like not para.
Yeah, it's not
But naturally.
Yeah, like good and near good.
You can do W or A, you can do V. Could you be like, I will tell you, I'm not good with the handwriting. It doesn't matter.
Bhagavat.
Okay. Write this way too. Okay. Apara. Apara is simple language is living. Oh no, not living. Where is that? Apara is knowledge that you get for making living. And para is knowledge that you get for making life.
What?
Kind of.
I don't see it.
A-P-A-R-A and P-A-R. Okay, making living. What is that knowledge? Living is making living is means
Making a living. That's
making a
money.
living. Yeah.
So apara would be like the knowledge you get from school and stuff like that.
You
Like
got
a PhD, the knowledge you get from college.
Mm-hmm.
It's to like make money.
Make money. Yeah, making living.
What's the one on the right?
This one, para, P-A-R-A.
So knowledge to make a living?
Yeah. Or like knowledge to like
So,
make money, earn something.
earn something, right? And make life is knowledge of yourself.
Okay.
I just made it up, but it's the difference, right? Did you get the
What do you
difference?
mean you made it
The
up?
Yeah, what did you? What do you mean I made it up?
Made it up.
Made the definition.
I just want to make a word thing that may sound similar, and you can make a difference between.
So that's not actually the definition, but you're trying to make it easier for us.
Make it easy. Yeah.
No, making living is
It's
definition.
a
right?
definition.
Like making life is like.
Means like knowledge, like knowledge about yourself, right? So what is Gita gonna give you?
Knowledge.
Knowledge, but which kind of knowledge? Para. Okay, so remember that part. So you are not going to get a living out of this. Okay, you don't say, oh, she's Sonam auntie taught us this, now we can earn money with this. It's not about you cannot earn money with Gita at all, right?
I mean, depends. What if you're like a sage who accepts like black money and stuff?
But still, it doesn't last for that long,
Yeah,
right?
I know, but that's still making living.
I know, but it's the wrong knowledge then.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, so
Then you're using the para to do a para.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So that
Which is wrong.
Which is wrong.
You shouldn't
yeah.
be combining those two.
Like
They're
that,
separate for a reason.
Yes.
Like how you talked about in the morning.
Yeah, I know that one. Okay, so that's how it is gonna go. So there are two kind of knowledges. Now, before we go into the detail about we start reading Gita again, I'm gonna drag it a little bit more because everybody needs to know the background of why Gita came.
What's the date?
11-8.
Today's it. So, what happened, right? So here is what happened one day. How come Krishna ended up coming in, became a chariot driver for Arjun?
Because he didn't want to fight.
Right.
He
So
said
there was
that
an
he didn't
episode. I think Janvi doesn't know about that. So let just little bit describe recap what happened. So here is the thing what happened. There was a war about to start.
Yeah.
There are two cousins, right? Two brothers. They got into a fight. There was a good team and a bad team. There was two people there.
Pandavas are good, Kauravas.
Yeah, Pandavas were representing good deeds and
Or are representing?
bad deeds. Okay. So then what happened is, so there was about to be fight. Now, there was Krishna who had a good army. Yadava's army was strong and Krishna was a king. So now they were thinking about, hey, you know, whoever Krishna will come into, these both cousins, like bad and good, they would say, hey, whoever's team Krishna will come, it will be so good, right? Because, but you know, one second. They were going to every king like this because this was a big war, right? So they wanted everybody to be on their side. So they were going to each king in the world and saying, hey, can you fight from our side? Can you fight? Like how Trump and Biden were requesting everybody to vote for them.
Yeah.
Same way these two brothers who were about to fight, because this fight was so huge, they wanted everybody to be on their side, right? So they were going everywhere. Okay, Krish.
Okay, so then they go to Krishna's kingdom.
Can I explain it the way I want to explain? Because I wanted to show something in there.
Okay.
So hold your thoughts. I will give you a chance to do it. So then what happened is, so Arjun and Duryodhan both said Duryodhan was a bad side and Arjun was a good side. Arjun was Panda and Duryodhan was Kaurava, right? So Kaurava's king and Pandava's king, they both went to Krishna Bhagavan to say, hey, you know, I need your help. Which side are you going to be?
And then Krishna was rejected Duryodhan.
No.
Okay,
No,
not
that's
rejected.
Not rejected.
Okay, guys,
No.
let's keep going. No. I know everybody is getting anxiety about that. So what happened is, they went to Krishna Bhagavan at the same time, both of them, right? And then Krishna Bhagavan was taking an afternoon nap at that time, you know. In India, he was sleeping with the very sunny weather there. So he was sleeping and then he said, so when Duryodhan went in first, so Duryodhan said, okay, I'm the king. So Krishna Bhagavan was sleeping there. He went and he sat
Sat on
next
the
to
feet.
his head.
I mean, head, yeah.
Wait,
head.
who? Duryodhana?
Duryodhana.
Yeah.
The
Duryodhana
corner
went and sat
on his head.
on his head.
Like,
Like
not on
somebody
his head.
sleeping,
Like
right?
next to his head.
Janvi, you understand
And then he
that?
said
So
next to
somebody
his
is sleeping and you went and sat beside somebody's head, right? Then Arjun came next and Arjun sat next to his feet, right? So now let's say if somebody wakes up, who's gonna he see first? The person who is sitting on his head or person who is sitting on his feet?
His head.
No.
No,
Because he gets up like that and he sees
Oh,
that
yeah.
person there. Because the person's behind him when he gets up.
yeah.
The head, the person at the head's behind him when he gets
So
up.
that's
So he sees the feet.
Yeah.
okay. So what happened is, so he saw who first?
Arjun.
Arjun, right? So he said, Arjun, why did you come? What's the purpose
Wait,
of
also,
the thing?
also.
Yeah.
Duryodhana then, so after, okay, wait. You go and then I'll tell.
Okay. Yeah. So then, so what happened is now he asked the person, but before he said, before you say anything, I want to announce something. And he said, what? He said, I know I can see both of you are here in my room, right? And you are going to ask. So Krishna Bhagavan already know that why did they come for, right? But he said, before you open your mouth, I want to make an announcement that I'm not gonna touch a weapon in the war. I'm not gonna fight, right? So I'm not gonna touch a weapon. He already announced it. Then he said, Arjun, why did you come here?
So now he's asking Arjun why did he come here, and he already knows Arjun's gonna ask for him or his army or whatever to fight with him, right? So now Duryodhana, who's behind him, got mad, right? Because he wanted Krishna's army, right? He didn't really care about Krishna, right? He just wanted his army because they were so strong, right? So he starts saying that, no, I actually came in here first. I should get the first pig, right? But then Krishna says, no, Arjun's younger, so let him.
Okay.
That's
That was sad. You wanted to add. Okay. So this is what happened, right? So now Arjun has a choice to make, right? What choice to make?
Krishna or Krishna's army.
Krishna, he could ask anything right now, right? Because it was his chance. The
Yeah.
first he got the chance. So Arjun could have asked anything saying, okay, I want 1 million soldiers, I want this, I want that, I want this and that. So he could have asked anything. But what did he ask?
He wanted you.
Cherry.
I want you.
I want you, right? Now he said, Krishna Bhagavan already announced it that I'm not going to fight, right?
Yeah.
You have to make your own decision. You have to fight. You have to, don't depend on me. Because if Krishna Bhagavan would have fight, what would he have done? Right?
Yeah.
In one day. They would
Yeah.
not have even gone for 18 days, right? They would have won in one day. So Krishna Bhagavan already said
And
not.
Krishna knew
Still,
this. That's why he said he's not.
still Arjun picked Bhagavan. So he made his decision.
And Arjun didn't know Krishna was Bhagwan at that time.
No, yeah, that's true. Now he turned around. Then Duryodhana was very sad when Arjun was. Guys, no personal talking anymore. Okay. So Duryodhana was very sad when Arjun got the first pick, but then he flipped with happiness because he said, okay, first of all, he picked Krishna. And that also the person who is not going to even help in fight, right? He is not going to fight at all. Now, so what's going to happen is,
I got his army.
I will pick everything else. And that's more powerful than getting a person with no weapon, right? One person with no weapon, right? So he was very happy. So then when his turn came and he said, oh, would you like, what would you like, Duryodhana? So Duryodhana said, what I want is your army. I want all your army, all your horses, all your chariots, everything, all your money, I want towards me. So Krishna Bhagavan says, okay, as you guys wish. Now Duryodhana went back. You remember
So
Duryodhana has a mama?
Yeah.
Who was the mama? Shakuni mama, right?
The one
And
that always used to do the
their dies, yeah. You remember. So now this Shakuni mama, so Duryodhana was very happy and went and said, hey Shakuni mama, look what I got. He was so happy. And he said,
just like, apcha, apcha,
do it Shaisha one more time.
apcha, apcha.
अब क्या कर दिया? Okay, so what happened is, so he said, oh, you know what? I got whole Yadav's army and we're gonna be winning in this fight because you know what? Arjun picked the weaponless Krishna. What will he do? Now we won the fight. The mama who was really wicked, he said to Duryodhan, he said, Murk. Murk means
Fool.
fool. Fool, you lost the battle. You lost the world today.
Dumb.
He said, what did you do? You already lost the world today. Because what happened is, the person who has gone, though in worldly matter he cannot win, but what he's going to win everything.
Wait, but how does Shukuni Mama know that Krishna's gone?
Because he knows that he has that intellect saying that this person is the bad. He himself was really bad, but he was very intelligent.
Yeah,
very
he was
smart.
very smart. He had bad intentions.
Yes, he was very smart. Right? So this is how it happened, right? So this was the background of why Krishna end up driving the chariot for Arjun. Then Arjun say, hey, what are you going to do? And he said, what I'm going to do when I'm not going to fight. So Arjun asked, would you mind
To be my chariot.
chariot driver? And that's how Krishna Bhagavan end up becoming the chariot driver.
And best friend.
And he was already best friend, right?
Yeah, they were
He
all
was already best friend. Now let's talk chapter 1.
Can we start?
Okay, first we read and then we can talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
the chapter. Okay.
Okay. We'll do call response.
Call response. We will
Oh,
do
this
call
is
response.
Like how we did with those slots.
Page
Right.
31.
Right?
So we will start. Krishu, might be their book might be different than Krishu.
Chapter
Yeah,
1
pretty
slope.
No, I think it's the same. It's
It's
just smaller.
same, it's just smaller. So let's.
Oh, right there, chapter 1.
Go back.
Go back.
Oh, right there.
Okay, Janvi, that's the what. So what are we gonna do is
Page 33.
Page 3. The introduction is so big.
Janvi, Shani, can you explain Janvi what words are we
Yeah,
gonna
the
read?
blind guy. The corner was that.
When Krishna reads this, he'll read it and then
Reha, do you have your Gita? We're gonna read the slok number 1 to 11. So first gonna read and you can respond. And Alia, you just hang in there, okay, beta? I will send you the Gita next. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so
Dhritarashtra uvacha
Dhritarashtra
Dharma kshetre kurukshetre
Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre
Samaveta yuyutsava
Samaveta Yuyutsava
Mamaka pandavascheva
Mamaka Pandavastreva
Kima kurvata sanjaya.
Kima Kurvata Sanjaya.
Okay, now we'll all sing it together. Okay.
Dhritarashtra Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsava Mamaka Pandavastreva Kima Kurvata Sanjaya.
Sanjay uvacha
Sanjay Uvacha
Drushva tu pandavanikam
Drushta tu Pandavanikam
Drushva tu pandavani. Oh, sorry. Vyuddham duryodhanastada
Yurdam Duryodhanastada
Acharyam upasangamya
Acharyam Upasangamya
Raja vachanam abravit
Raja Vachanam Abravit
Sanjay
Uvacha Sanjayuvacha Drushta tu Pandavanikam Vyuddham Duryodhanastada Acharyam Upasangamya Raja Vachanam Abravit
Pashyetam panduputranam
Pashyetam Panduputranam
Pashyetam Acharya Mahatim Chamam
Acharya Mahatim Chamum
Vyuddhan Drupada पुत्रेण
Vyudam Drupada
तव शिष्येन धीमता.
Tava Shishyena Dhimata.
Okay,
All
all together.
Pashyata Panuputranam Acharya Mahatim Shamam Vyudam Drupada Putrena Tava Shishyena Dhimata.
Okay, everyone go to 4. Run 4.
I'm just going for it. So now you just click every time I'm done.
You see on the top right and left it says,
That.
I mean
Yeah,
top
we do
right,
that,
it
and
says,
that, and
no,
that,
look at
and
the
that.
top of the page,
Yes.
1.4 and 1.5. So that's 1 means chapter 1 and 0.4 means chapter 1.
Guys, you want light?
No.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Atra Shura Maheshvasa
Atra Shura Maheshvasha
Bhimarjuna Samayudhi
Bhimarjuna Samayudhi
Yuyudano Viratascha
Yuyudhano Viratascha
Drupadascha Maharata.
Draupadascha Maharata
Okay, all together.
Atasura Maheshvasha Bhimarjuna Samayudhi Yuyudhano Viratascha Draupadascha Maharata.
Drashtaketana
Drashtaketuschetitanam
Drashtaketana Kashi Rajascha Viryavan
Kashirajasya Viryavan
Purujit Kunti Bojascha
Purujit Punti Bojasya
Shebyascha Narapungava
Shevasya Narapungavam Drashtaketuschetitanam Kashirajasya Viryavan Purujit Punti Bojasya Shevasya Narapungava.
6. Yuddhamanyuscha Vikranta
Yudhyamanyuscha Vikranta
Uttamo Jascha Viryavan
Uttamo Jascha Viryavan
Sobhadro Draupadeyascha
Sobhadro Draupadeyascha
Sarva Eva Maharata.
Sarva Eva Maharata
Together.
Yuddhamanyuscha Vikranta Uttamo Jascha Viryavan Sobhadro Draupadeyascha Sarva Eva Maharata.
7. Everyone on 7?
Yeah.
7.
Asmakam tu vishishtaye
Asmakam tu Vishishtaye
Tane bodha dvijottama
Tani Bodha Dvijotama
Nayaka mama sainyasya
Nayaka Mama Sainyasya
Sanyartam tan bhavimite.
Samnyarta Tanabram Vimite.
Should I say it again?
Yeah.
Sanyartam.
Some.
Oh, it says sun on one. Okay,
Sun.
Samnyartam.
The dot is in the middle of the word. If you look at the Hindi version, the dot is in middle of two alphabets, right? Sa and na.
Yeah.
So then it becomes san, na, not ma. So san, na, san, ya,
Sanyartam.
yeah.
Sanyartam.
Yeah.
Say, everyone say.
Sanyarta.
Sanyartam.
Sanyarta.
Okay, and then Tandravimite.
Tandravimite.
Sanyartam Tandravimite.
Sanyartam Tandravimite.
Together.
Okay.
Asmakam
tu Vishishtaye Tani Bodha Dvijotama Nayaka Mama Sanyasya
भीष्मश्च कर्णश्च
भवान् भीष्मश्च कर्णश्च
कृपाश्च समितिञ्जय
कृपाश्च समितिञ्जय
अश्वत्थामा विकर्णश्च
अश्वत्थामा विकर्णश्च
सौमदत्तिस्तथैव च
सौमदत्तिस्तथैव च भवान् भीष्मश्च कर्णश्च कृपश्च समितिञ्जय अश्वत्थामा विकर्णश्च सौमदत्तिस्तथैव च 9
अन्ये च बहवः शूरा
अन्ये च बहवः शूरा
मदर्थे त्यक्तजीविता
मदर्थे त्यक्तजीविता
नानाशस्त्रप्रहाराणां
नानाशस्त्रप्रहाराणां
सर्वे युद्धविशिष्यदा
सर्वे युद्धविशिष्यदा
Okay, सर्वे युद्धविशारद
सर्वे युद्धविशारदा अन्ये च बहवः शूरा मदर्थे त्यक्तजीविता नानाशस्त्रप्रहाराणां सर्वे युद्धविशारदा
Last book.
10th.
Last one.
Yeah.
अपर्याप्तं तदस्माकं
अपर्याप्तं तदस्माकं
बलं भीष्माभिरक्षितं
बलं भीष्माभिरक्षितं
पर्याप्तं त्विदम् एतेषां
पर्याप्तं त्विदमेतेषां
बलं भीमाभिरक्षितं
बलं भीमाभिरक्षितम् अपर्याप्तं तदस्माकं बलं भीष्माभिरक्षितं पर्याप्तं त्विदमेतेषां बलं भीमाभिरक्षितम्. Good. So these are the first 10 slokas. Like sometimes it will come when we will go slope by slope,
and go
right?
back to number 1.
Slope by slope, but sometimes we will condense the slok. If it's not too much in each slok, then we will condense the slok and read all the summary together. Is that okay, guys? Right? And sometimes we might have to go slok by slok, one slok and then description of one slok, right?
What are we gonna do?
So now, right now, I just wanted to tell you what. So this first chapter name is Arjun Dilemma, right? So Arjun's dilemma.
Yeah, it says observing the army is
I know, but it's the same, like it's Arjun's dilemma here. Like it's explained what Arjun is thinking and why he is thinking.
For my chapter, it says the yoga of dejection of Arjun.
Yeah, so it's kind of the same thing, right? And in Hindi, it might say Visheda Yoga. Visheda Yoga means Arjun's depression or Arjun's, emotional status right now, right? So that's what they are talking about. So if you look at it, what's happening here now, Arjun is very much confused what to do, right? Now the first slok, if you look at the first slok, what does it say? That it's between dharma and adharma, right? So now Dhritarashtra is sitting in the palace right now, right? Dhritarashtra is blind, he cannot fight.
Yeah.
Right? So he is sitting in the palace and now he wants to know about what's going on in the battlefield there, right? So now who is the one who is telling him? Sanjay. And how Sanjay is saying
I
that?
guess
divine sight.
he has divine
And he
sight.
got the television vision.
Yeah.
The
Television.
divine sight. Yeah, just he can see other places.
Vision of television. That he can see far away things and you can see like how shows are being
that way-
shooting.
Like a hawk
That way, so that way, the Dhritarashtra can know what's happening.
What's
Before I can
happening?
see through
Yeah.
the walls.
Yeah, so that's what happening. So first slok is like the main slok is the first slok in this chapter. If you look at it, it says the whole thing about how it's not about philosophy of life. Like first chapter, you will not even God will not even say a word in first chapter. There is no slok from Krishna Bhagavan in first chapter. It's only sloks of
comes in the second.
that's what Dhritarashtra, Sanjay, and Arjun, right? So it is all about what we complain about as a human being, right? This is about human life. This is psychology of human life. It's not about what is the psychology of life. It's just what human takes the life as and what they complain about, right? So the first look, when you read the first word of the first look, it says Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra is representation of battlefield.
Yeah.
Right? Dharma Kshetra is what's your duty, what you are going to do, what's your things to do as a human. So your purpose of your life. So what is Dhritarashtra asking to Sanjay? The purpose of the life, Dharma Kshetra means the Kshetra means the field.
Yeah.
Where they have to perform their duty. Right? Their duty is have a knowledge of what's right and what's wrong. What are the do's and don'ts in your life, right? So at that time, everybody is aware in a battlefield, right? So he's saying Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, and then he says Pandavas Putra, all the Pandavas Putra and my Putra. So he has what?
Pandu's Putra.
Yeah.
Pandu's Putra means Pandu's kids.
Yeah, and my Mama. उसमें लिखा है my putra,
Mamaka.
Yeah. So my putra, my kids, and Pandava's kids, what are they doing? What are they doing there? So his question is simple, but there is a meaning to it. Now what happens is, Dhritarashtra is blind, right? Dhritarashtra word means the person who occupies others' land. That's the meaning. Means materialistic.
Yeah.
Right? Materialistic. So material motivation. He has all the material motivation. His name explains that. Dhritarashtra is material motivation. Duryodhan, which is his son, the meaning of Duryodhan is dirty fighter. Right?
That makes
But
sense.
that makes sense, right? It is all so now dirty fighter means your material motivation give birth to material actions,
Oh yeah.
AKA Duryodhan.
right? When you have material motivation, what actions you gonna take to achieve those material stuff which you are motivated?
You try at all
He has
costs.
like motivation to be the king.
Yeah. So because Dhritarashtra was material motivation, what happened? His son became
Also the same.
His son became
was his
his-
material
his-
actions.
yeah,
He
his-
took material actions because
his
his
son
dad was
became
like that.
like his son made the material thoughts come true.
Come true, right? So he started taking action on
Also,
it. So that's the meaning of both the
also,
words, right?
racism.
So if you look at it, what do you think? Like this is starting with the Dhritarashtra's psychology. What he is asking, like those are Pandavas putra, right? Those are Pandavas putra. Those are not mine, right? And my putra, right? So he's saying my. And why my? Like this is my and this is theirs. So he is already dividing the world into two things. This is not mine. Pandavas are not mine. Those human souls are not mine. And these human souls are mine. Right? So they are making the difference between those souls. Right? So first slok itself tells about the material nature. When you get the material nature, what happens to you?
You become evil.
Right? You become bad. Now, so after saying that, he is talking to Sanjay, saying, "Hey Sanjay, tell me what's going on at the battlefield, right? Are they what are these guys doing?" So now he already differentiated that these are though they were his brother's son, right? Though they were so close to them, they were cousins. Still, he said, "Hey Sanjay, tell me what they are doing. What? Pandav's putra and my putra." Right? So he already differentiating two people.
He could have said what they are doing.
They are doing that, or what all the kids are doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
But
Rather
he
than
said,
that, he said,
he said,
did.
in,
he's not saying
in the thing, like if you read in the thing, it says, what are my sons
My sons doing and the sons of Pandu.
Yeah, sons of Pandu doing.
Yeah.
What are they?
If you know a person who has a sense of saying that every soul has God in it,
Yeah.
would he separate those
No.
two? Even they are in the same family, right? If you are, you will say, hey, you know, what are the kids doing? Tell me what's happening in the battlefield. But he specifically said that, hey, first of all, do's and don'ts are at the battlefield right now. Our dharma kshetra is already in the battlefield, right? And now tell me what these guys and what my guys are doing. So he's already separating the 2 men, right? So that's the first slok is so important in the Gita because it tells the whole what everybody thinks. Now, how we think, oh, my book, oh, Sean, don't take my iPad, or iPad, oh, Sean, don't take my phone, or like, you know, we do that. Don't we do that? This is mine, this is mine, this is what the Thrush is doing. Every human being, when he gets birth, he gets so used to this mind and body and intellect that they start doing mine, right? So the first issue of the human race is mentioned in the first slok of Gita. Mine is the first problem which we all face when we grow up, right? We start doing mine. Like what Janvi does, mine. What do you do, mine? My toy, my best friend, my food, my chocolate,
Oh yeah,
my chocolate, right? We do that. Like
Sometimes my iPad.
my iPad, my iPad also, right? So we start doing that. Even we are little, even when you grow up, if I say, hey, you are invited to my house. I say that, right? Don't I say that?
Yeah.
Right? So that happens at every age. It's not that you are little and you fight because you are little and you fight for my. Me and daddy fight for my too. Right? So this is the main problem of human race. That's where the first slok starts. Now next what Sanjay says, hey, Duryodhan is saying, Duryodhan came to the Guru. Who is Duryodhan's Guru? Dronacharya, right?
And he
So-
said the following words, which will be said in the next one.
I know. Can we just summarize it, because I don't think so we had time to summarize the whole thing. So I will not go slok by slok, but I will summarize all 10 sloks together, right? So what happens is, now Dhritarashtra comes to Duryodhan comes to Dronacharya. He says pranam, and he now look at Duryodhan's mindset. Like, you know, he is already evil, right? We know Duryodhan is evil now. Now he's coming and he's saying to his Guruji, look at Pandava's army, right?
They're so weak.
He's saying your people. Because what happens is, because there is a jealousy, right? When you are evil-minded, everything, when you don't have God in your side, you are evil-minded. What happens in your evil mind? Only the thoughts comes that are jealousy, anger, hatred. All these things comes when you don't have God with you, right? So Duryodhan doesn't pick God with him, right?
He doesn't
Because-
say-
right? His army.
Look
right?
at my cousins.
No, he did not say
He
that.
doesn't say. He says,
He
look
said
at your
people, because all his students are there.
It's like Arjun trained under him.
Arjun trained under him. Drupad's son, who is gonna be the chief minister of them, he was Drona's student also.
Yeah.
So what he says, he said, look at your people. Now look at your people means how bad. Can you
Again,
tell your teacher
separation.
like this? Can you talk to your teacher like this? No, right? But Duryodhan did. So first of all, the evil-minded is already
Imagine you're a fellow classmate,
there. Uh-huh.
and then like the two sides of the class teamed up and are
Look
right?
at your
Then you
people.
tell the teacher,
Look
look
at
at
your
your
kids.
kids.
Yeah.
Like in like such disdays.
Yeah. So he's saying, look at your kids in the Pandava side, right? Student. So now because he has hatred, he has jealousy, everything. What happens is he gets fear also. When people are not, people are not have a evil-minded and not good-minded, they are always with the fear. They live with the fear. Now he has fear that, hey, look how great that army is. But what he's doing here is he's saying, look at the Pandava's army. it has all your students in there, right?
People
And
are
this all the Veer kids, and he says all the names. Like in second, third shlok, it's all the names of Pandava's army. There is Bhim, there is
Can I name them?
Drupad,
Can I name them?
Drupad's son.
So the
There is-
Pandu
Bhim,
and
Arjun,
Draupadi.
Satyaki, Virat,
Mm-hmm.
Marathi,
Yeah.
which is Drupad's son,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
Drishtaketu,
Uh-huh.
Chaititana,
Uh-huh.
the king of Kasi, sloks 4 to 6.
4 to 6 minutes.
Purujit, Kuntiboj, Saibya,
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yudamanyu,
Uh-huh.
Uttama, Moja, Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu is
Kunti
Arjun's son.
Boji.
Yeah.
Kunti Boji.
It says Abhimanyu, the son of Subhadra, which
No, son of
I know,
Subhadra is also
and
one.
is Arjun's wife, Krishna's sister.
No, no.
No, Krishna's.
Krishna's
not
wife is Subhadra. Right?
Oh,
Wait, what?
It's a totally different. He's saying Abhimanyu, he's saying Subhadra also. Subhadra's son.
Oh, this is common.
oh yeah.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
Subhadra's son also
Okay,
is
okay.
in there.
so Abhimanyu, Subhadra's son,
Yeah.
and
The sons of Draupadi.
all of Draupadi's sons,
Five.
which is the 5 Pandavas, which is
Draupadi's son.
I mean not
or-
Pandavas. Sorry, my
Draupadi's
bad. My bad. Yeah, I mean Draupadi. Yeah, no.
Hold on, don't close the book, Raja. Abhi 4-5 hai. I just want to tell you just a dilemma of Duryodhan also.
Yeah.
It's not just Arjun is in dilemma. Duryodhan, with the fear, he is in dilemma too. So he's talking about all these great soldiers in Pandu's side, right? He's saying that these all are there, right? But now look at our army. Now he's talking. So now with fear, what he's saying that look how great their army is. But here is the thing: we are great too.
Yeah,
so
he
he's
says-
trying to
He
shatter.
convinced
he says- he says you- you
to get on
Dronacharya-
his side, and he does.
Yeah.
No.
So he's already in
No,
his side.
Dronacharya is already on his side.
Oh.
But
he
that's
says,
good. That he's
look
just
at,
trying to
People like you.
Look at our
you, Bhishma, Karn, Kripa,
Prabha. Let
Karn,
Sanay read all the names. Read.
you, Bhishma, Karn, Kripa, Ashwathama, Karn, and son of
Somadatta.
Burishrava,
Mm-hmm.
and
and and then it
Bhishma,
it says it's
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, the
it
next
says
book
fully
says
protected by Bhishma,
Bhishma,
and is unconquerable, and it also says that there are many heroes that are skilled in warfare and stuff like that.
Yeah. So that's how he is saying that, hey, even they are good too, but we are good too, and we have Bhishma, who is unconquerable.
Yeah.
So then we have Bhishma Pitama. So now in the 10th slok and 11th slok, he just says, hey, let's have support Bhishma in this fight
Because Bhishma
is the
can't die unless he wants to.
yeah. So
Let's
let's
let them
support
do it.
Bhishma and let's begin this fight.
Yeah.
So that's where we end there, right? So again, this is the really giving a psychology of these people who are very evil in mindset. Now they left God. God is not in his life. This is what happens when God is not in your life.
I mean, God's literally opposing them.
Yes.
Because Krishna's literally on the other side,
Other side of
opposing
the
them.
vessel. Yes, right? So you got it? Okay, guys. So just a quick thing. We talk about today was what does Bhagavad Gita means, right? What was the
Knowledge.
What is
The background
knowledge?
information.
Background information about Gita. Why
And
we
then we
study
talked
Gita?
about
And the
Gita.
first 10 sloks.
Yeah. Right. First 10 sloks about Duryodhan's mindset.
And no, not Arjun.
Not
Not
Arjun.
yet.
Not
Arjun's
yet.
mindset comes later in the
Not
chapter.
later. Okay. Krishu was. Can you call in the Purnamada?
Oh. Om Purnamada.
Om Purnamada.
Purnamidam.
Purnamidam.
Purnat.
Purnat.
Purnamadachyate.
Purnamadachyate.
Purnasya Purnamadaya.
Purnasya Purnamadaya.
Purnameva Vashishyate.
Purnameva Vashishyate.
finish with Vasudeva.
Oh, yeah. Om Shanti.
Oh,
Nahi hai Shanti.
there's no Om Shanti.
I know, I forgot.
Okay.
Okay.
Vasudeva
Vasudam Devam Kamsucharunamardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru
Guru Brahma
Guru Vishnu